And it is 10:04, so good morning, everybody.
1 second, please.
Hey, Jared, how are you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. All right, we are live.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Dan Butler here. It's Thursday, March 20th, 10:04 a.m., and I am calling the Wareham Redevelopment Authority meeting to order. I want to thank Zach from Wareham Media for covering today's event, recording this. We are on Zoom, as I understand. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that correct, Zach? Okay. Morning, Sarah. How are you? And that's all for you right there.
Thanks.
We're starting an hour later than usual because we are having some special guests come in via Zoom at 11 o'clock. Some representatives from the town of Hudson. So we're very anxious to hear from them. If you go to the Wareham Redevelopment Authority website, you'll find the link to this Zoom event, and Wareham Media will have it up on YouTube within about 3 days, typically is what I see from the Wareham Media folks. So if you miss it live today, you'll be able to catch it later on. Ken, could we have a roll call?
Yes, Judith Wayside, Dan Butler, Sarah Corbett, and myself, Ken Buckland. We have a quorum.
Okay, and I understand Mr. Sullivan is tied up in another meeting. And resident comments, I see a distinguished resident, Jared Frederickson, in the audience. Jared, did you have anything for the committee
nothing
today?
for me.
No, okay. All right, thanks. Welcome, Jared.
Thanks.
Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Authority business. The first item that we carried over from our last agenda was an update, discussion, and possible vote on the GAF dumpster consolidation study contract. Ken, I don't know if you had a chance in the intervening week to do much on that, or to.
I talked to Bill Madden, and he was looking for the survey that Green Seal had done previously on Merchants Way, and found out that there wasn't meets and bounds on the property boundaries. So checking back with Green Seal to determine whether or not they had how they had put in the lot lines, because that'll be key in locating the dumpsters.
Okay.
So I have a question as a newbie. Does this mean that project can be completed sooner rather than later, potentially?
If the survey is accurate, yes.
Perfect, awesome.
If not, we'll probably have a change order with GAF for property boundaries.
Oh, we'd have to have them do the property boundaries?
Yeah.
Okay.
So wouldn't the assumption be that the original people that we chose to do the survey would have done their job properly? Right? Because we paid them money.
Yeah, but what are we paying for is the question.
Okay. Awesome. I'm still learning this business for sure. Okay, thanks.
And Ken, if we do a change order, would that include changing the due date on the report that we would want to get from GAF?
Presumably, yeah, depending on what they can do and how fast they can do it.
Okay. That's something you can update us on then at the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Once that's resolved.
Okay, thank you. Just making a note here. Okay, next item, discussion and possible vote on the draft open space committee report. Ms. Whiteside, thank you for bringing that to our attention. You asked if we could review that. The open space committee is requesting feedback from other committees in town. And thank you for sending that around to everybody. It was a fairly lengthy report, so it took a while to go through, but I'm assuming folks had a chance to look it over. Did anybody have any reaction to it? Ken?
There were a number of issues with it, and I haven't finished doing my review though.
Okay.
Same. I started reading it. It is a very lengthy report and I have a lot of questions, but at the moment I would like to postpone this discussion to another date.
Okay. Ms. Whiteside.
I have already made my position on it clear to the committee and to Mr. Sullivan and to Josh and to Ken. It is there are several factual errors. There are several things that are missing from it. And it needs a lot of work. And I read it. It took me 4 hours to review it the first time, and then I spent an hour doing the English teacher approach. And it needs a lot of work.
You found a typo or two?
I found, I got to page 73.
Oh my God, that's right. Sorry,
And
it's really long.
typing up all of my comments, and then I said, I'm not doing this. They're all in handwriting, but sometimes my handwriting is,
Okay.
so it needs a lot of work. It will be, the only thing I want to confirm is that the lack of it does not impact the park grant that we are in, we are in the process of processing for Lopes Field,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
Good, I
So
want that on the record.
So the extant plan is good enough, it sounds like. Thank you. I read the report and I had some comments as a private resident that I communicated directly to a member of the committee and asked that be shared with the rest of the open source committee. So I was just like any other resident. I had some reactions. I will point out that it does call for new and better pickleball courts, which is good. I liked that a lot when I saw that in the report. But we are falling behind Bourne. I might bring that up. There seems to be a pickleball gap. What's it?
I mean,
It's growing.
we're laughing, but it's really true. In this part-time job I have as an editor with USA Today, I am reading more and more and more articles about these outstanding young entrepreneurs who are getting involved in pickleball in a massive startup entrepreneur way. And I think that is a very good idea to have in this town.
Thank you. All right, that's two of us so far.
Even though I don't play the game, I doubt I ever will.
Yeah, and I've seen that too, obviously, since I'm an avid pickleball player, and I've seen, like you have just mentioned, some young people that went from one thing entirely to becoming pickleball professionals, and that are making their living off pickleball and have started up small businesses built around pickleball, and pickleball attracts a crowd, which is good for local businesses.
And I heard on the radio just this morning, this company advertising this massive sports, food, alcohol, entertainment complex about pickleball and asking for franchisees who are interested in bringing this business to their community and themselves. There's a lot going on in that world right now, and I'd like to keep up with it.
Okay, there is. You know what? I'll put that on a future agenda. We'll get an update on pickleball in Wareham.
And I would like, through you, to ask Connor Alden to help me with that project,
Sure.
because he has a whole lot more time than I do right now.
Well, can I ask what pickleball has to do with redevelopment of downtown, particularly, which is what we're focusing on right now?
Well, I'll give one example. In Fairhaven, a large building that was empty, was on the market for a while.
Right, it was an old skating rink, rollerblade, I get
Right.
it, but
And that's
I'm
become-
asking for specifically apply it to Wareham is what I'm
Oh,
asking.
I'd like to hear the rest of your comments, please. Can we?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, an entrepreneur came in, turned that into a pickleplex. It's now a beehive of activity. The little restaurant across the street, a little Italian restaurant,
Oh my God,
Is
McCarty's.
booming
Yeah.
with sweaty pickleball players after a match, coming in for lunchtime special and, some rehydration. We have a big steel building that belongs to the town that's currently empty, earning no rent whatsoever. It's the type of building that attracts the attention of the entrepreneurs that Sarah's talking about.
Mhm.
There are entrepreneurs around the country right now. I met one not long ago. They are real estate professionals. They are not pickleball professionals. They're real estate professionals, and they are hunting for the right community with the right transportation infrastructure, such as we have with 195 and 495, gateway to Cape Cod. and buildings, particularly buildings in old malls that are suddenly going empty because malls are not as popular as they once were, and they have these big buildings that are empty, like an old Nordstrom's or Macy's, for example.
Mhm.
They are seeking out the right town, the right building, and then they are coming in and investing heavily to build a pickleplex. And the businesses all around those new pickleplexes are benefiting from that. So I think that is how a town like Wareham could potentially benefit from this boom
Mhm.
in popularity of the sport. And I think we were smart when we first got into this, when we, 5 years ago, rehabilitated some old dangerous tennis courts down at the Hammond School,
Mhm.
resurfaced them and made 4 dedicated pickleball courts. But we haven't taken it beyond that.
Mhm.
So I think this is worthy of a discussion as a redevelopment issue, because it can help a community that needs to go in the other direction when it comes to economic development.
And can I interject one more thing, in terms of my stepson, Sam Corbett, who is the son of my husband, Sam Corbett, did a similar thing. He invested in a multiplex court with various things in it. And he just did, I'm learning from watching Shark Tank, what every investor dreams of. He made his exit. And we talked to him just yesterday. And he now no longer has to work again. He did the same thing at 40. He's now 50, which tells me at 40, he was a multimillionaire because he paid for Sam and I to go to Hawaii. All expenses paid. Well, no, we upgraded to first class on everything, but anywho. And that tells me that he may well be a multi-billionaire at this point in today's numbers. So just want to lend my further support to this idea.
Okay.
Because that
All right.
kid is freaking genius, honestly.
Sarah, thank you. I think then we will put this on a future agenda, and we'll try to develop the case maybe for some investment here in Wareham and
Well, I think one of the
recreation
things
like this.
that this board is doing through the website, the updated website with the listing of commercial properties, is giving investors that opportunity, right?
Yeah, or at least enough to know what's
What's there,
available.
right.
Yeah,
So,
but I would say that the Tremont factory is
that's
not.
under the aegis of the select board. It is not the responsibility of this board. One more time.
Oh, no, we know that.
Okay,
Yeah.
just saying.
Although we've invested in it. But, no, but I take your point, and that is a great example. If we put out an RFP to try to find a tenant for the steel building, we should use Discover Wareham as a way to get the word out on that.
Yeah, I think I think your upgraded, really good website is a real benefit to the town and not just, pickleball or soccer or, whatever.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Sarah.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. Next item, we'll go back to Connor.
Can I just ask one question? How many commercial buildings are on there right now?
I would say around 10. I can give you an exact number.
Okay, that's fine, thank you.
Yeah, about the same ones you saw last time. when
That's
we
what I
looked at
thought,
it a
yeah.
month ago.
I've only since I launched it, I've only removed properties that aren't on LoopNet, this commercial property thing. I haven't added new properties because I haven't seen anything come up.
Okay, good, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Connor. Next item on the program, I would say about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, at Ken's urging, we started to talk about this topic, downtown dollars. Ken discussed the virtues of trying to keep money in our community and highlighted a few other towns and cities like Nashville, Tennessee was one that I recall, Lake Tahoe, another, that adopted this downtown dollars program as a possible tool for revitalizing commerce in the town. Connor has put together a short presentation, I believe, to talk to us about that and reignite perhaps a discussion on whether that merits the attention of the Wareham Redevelopment Authority and perhaps support of the WRA. So Connor, take it away.
For sure. So I have a slides from them that I can walk through, or I can just walk you through. I had a meeting with them yesterday, and we talked through, I basically just gave them the background on what we would be trying to use the program for and had like a conversation with one of the reps, so I can kind of walk you through that and give you my notes, or we can go through the slides if you need
Can you
to
give
see
us the
something.
5 to 10 minute?
Yeah, so I'll
highlights?
just talk you through the conversation that I had then.
What kind of slides do you have?
It's
Are they word slides or are they picture
word
slides?
slides.
Can they be shared with our audience?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I
I
think
just
that's
need to
appropriate.
log into something.
Would you be able to get onto the Zoom and share from there?
Yeah. Just give me a second.
Can we, okay, some minutes while
Yeah.
we're wasting time?
Oh, sure.
I move to approve the minutes of February 27th and March 13th, 2025.
Second,
Except I don't have the March 27th, or excuse me, the February 27th minutes.
Yeah, but we gave them last time,
We did?
yes. And you gave them to us at like 9 o'clock in the morning. We didn't do them because you
Ah,
were late
okay.
in doing them.
I couldn't
So
find
we
them.
have them.
Sorry.
I couldn't find them when I'm looking for them. this
We,
week.
we
Okay.
had them
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
we
see.
have those, and you have the
March 13th.
March 13th and the March 10th.
No, the only things on your agenda are February 27th and March 13th.
Let's see, February 27th, March 13th, and WRA event planning workshop number 3, which was on March 10th.
that came through this morning.
That was 9:30 this morning or
Yeah, so we
something.
can't do that one.
Yeah, I don't wanna do that
Oh,
one.
I sent that out last night, I thought.
Oh, well,
Okay.
We don't stay up until 10:30.
especially not when we have brand new babies in the house and get you up every 2 hours, like our
Especially
darling
not
girl
if
is
you've done
doing.
4 meetings in one day.
Okay, we can save that for the next one. It's
So my
very,
motion was
they're very
February
brief.
27th and March 13th.
okay, 27th and March 13th. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we approve those minutes.
Thank you.
Ken, can you make sure they get filed with our clerk?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Whiteside. While Connor is continuing to work the technical side of things to share his slides, let's jump to
He's right
discussion. of
there.
po-
He's right there.
Okay,
Oh, you got it up.
I got it.
And you're able to share that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Then let's dive into it.
It's good, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, the provider that I talked to was Yifty. And after doing some preliminary research, I just think that this is the one that fit best for us. A lot of the other ones were more for singular businesses, so and if they wanted to get like their own cards printed out or something like that. So you can see here, EFD is more oriented towards communities. So yeah, I just thought that would have fit better for us just based on how they're structured. So yeah, basically what Yifty is doing is they are the service provider for this. What you can do as someone who wants to buy downtown dollars is go onto a website, get the dollars, and it's all digital. What they're going to be launching in a few weeks is actually tap to pay. So as of right now, what you would do as someone who's buying downtown dollars is go on this individual website that they would make for us. They have their own website because of the security kind of walls with because everything is processed through MasterCard, which is another kind of asterisk. So I guess if a business was operating on cash only or something like that, or they just can't process MasterCard for whatever reason, then it wouldn't really work because it's all MasterCard.
Is that a gating issue? Like MasterCard charges fees.
Yeah,
So
so
small businesses like Nesrella's, maybe they do now, but for a time, all they did was accept cash, right? I mean, okay, clear me up on
Yeah.
that, thank you.
yeah, there are fees, and so how I understood it was that the fee structure from the credit cards are actually built into Yifty fees, so credit cards take whatever percent, I'm almost confident it's less than 5%, maybe like 1 or 2 on
I think it's
transaction.
2.5.
Yeah, so what
That's a
Yifty
scam.
does is every transaction they charge $1 and then 5% of the value of the card. And that's their whole overhead for fees and everything. So if we were to join with them, we would get an individual account manager for us, who's familiar with the Cape. I didn't talk to her yesterday, but the rep that I did talk to said that she's from here, she's aware of the businesses, and these are account managers that work with other communities. I think she said they had over 700 active communities that are using the program right now.
Are they specifically just New England or are they?
No, they're all over the
Everywhere.
US. Yeah. The example that we had looked at, she just signed into someone's account to show me yesterday and give me a walkthrough, was like Princeton area. So they have
Princeton,
their
Mass, or Princeton, New
Princeton,
Jersey?
like Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the university.
Okay.
So they had all the restaurants and stuff like that in that area. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's any really relevant information on that.
And how long have they been in business?
They've been in business. Maybe it says somewhere. It's definitely not new. I want to say 7+ years.
Okay.
Maybe it will say somewhere.
That's okay.
Yeah, MasterCard, everything's run through MasterCard. It's free to set up for everyone, and there's also the potential for sponsorships and promotions. So the promotion that they do is buy one, get one.
Who's they?
EFD, so they have that built into their kind of back end right now that you can easily run promotions
Okay.
through the program that they give you to whatever, manage the program. So you could do like 1-to-1, buy one, get one. I spend $50, I get $50 in community dollars. And that could be sponsored by another organization. So let's say the WRA wanted to do buy one, get one to promote community dollars, and you could do buy one, get one at 50%. So if I buy $10 of my own money in community dollars, then I get $5 in community dollars sponsored by the WRA or whoever else would want to sponsor. And for different sponsors, you can actually customize your community card. So let's say for one event, pickleball tournament or something like that, the YMCA is sponsoring, and we want to give out, I think you had given this example, if we want to give out community dollars as a prize for the event, and the event is sponsored by the YMCA, then you can actually get the YMCA logo on the community cards for that specific event and then change it back to whatever afterwards, WRA dollars or whatever you want to call them. So you can kind of pick and choose for different events. It's pretty flexible.
So sorry, I was distracted with my phone. So this can make both the YMCA money and the WRA money?
Yeah, because there can be different sponsors, like, so, and you can tailor them for different events too. So the, like, if we want to keep running buy one, get one, the WRA doesn't have to be the one that's always fronting this plus 50% on top of every transaction. It could be whoever else wants to sponsor it for Oyster Festival or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Toby wants to sponsor that, and they would just basically foot the extra bill, and everything is handled through this program that they have.
But we can't make money, can we?
I thought we could.
I
Because
don't-
No,
I think
No.
we
we don't make
I
money
think it'd
on
be the
this.
other way
No.
around.
Absolutely
I think
not.
we'd be putting money into it to
Yeah,
launch the program,
Okay,
underwrite it.
yeah.
but we have money as an entity, correct?
Correct,
We
but we
do,
can't
yes.
make money. We cannot create an income stream.
Not from this one.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And
Conor, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So this card, well, I guess it's more than it's a digital card. You can design it to have the Wareham logo, whatever we want to put.
yeah, so this looks like a good slide to talk about that. So you can see how it is right now, how they have it set up. So I think you can do it in browser or through their Yifty app that you download.
Oh my God, he's speaking a foreign language
I
again.
know, almost.
So it would look like this basically on your phone. So you see app.yifty.com, you would have bought it and got this in your email, and then you just pop it up on your phone. And so how they have it work right now is that the card looks like this here. And so you would show this to the person behind the register. They would actually have to manually type in the numbers on the card, and then it processes. So that's how they have it now, and she said that in the next 2 weeks or so, they would be launching with tap to pay. So now you get it like right here, I have all my cards and stuff like that. I would have my community dollars also in there.
Okay.
So the average age of the users of this, it's a real question.
Yeah, so it actually doesn't have to be on the phone either. You can print them out. So
Oh.
let's say again, I gift you $50.
I'm just thinking of the average age of some of the people who,
Yeah, which I asked about too.
yeah, go to our restaurants here. I mean, if you asked me to do that, I'd cry.
Yeah, which I was aware of when we had our conversation yesterday, the
Okay.
demographic of
Okay.
Wareham.
Good.
So I was asking about that, and yeah, I mean, just like any other digital coupon for the past 30 years, you can get it printed out on your computer.
Yeah.
And also, so what they also have, which is interesting, is they have in the app an option where you can actually process card purchases in person. I don't think that they have it in the slides, but so the scenario for this would be we have our Oyster Festival, right? We have our WRA tent there, and at that point, let's assume that we've chosen to move forward with EFD and we have our community dollars program set up. We could actually have like a mobile printer there and have people buying community dollars right there at the event, print it out and just give it to them right there.
So,
Or if people want to come to the town hall and buy community dollars, if they already have to go to the clerk for something else, they could go to whatever office and get that bought.
Mm-mm.
Or no.
No, not
Because
because
we'd be involving town employees in this.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
so would there be time to set this up? Because don't you have to have buy-in from the merchants? Like
Yeah.
let's say there are, what, 20 businesses
Yep.
on, I'll call it the strip,
Mhm.
that might join in. So those 20 businesses would benefit instantaneously if you were able to set it up for the 24th of May.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, and just some numbers there. We would need 8+ vendors to launch, is what they had said. So we need 8 stores that kind of buy into the program, or 8.
Does it cost them anything?
It doesn't cost them anything at all. And so I was talking about buy one get one earlier. So if the WRA did choose to sponsor the program, you can choose to sponsor through this buy one get one, or they have it set up where you can easily sponsor to waive the fees for the purchaser. So this $1.05 fee that you have to pay on every card that you buy, the WRA could sponsor to waive that. So it's just a clean purchase on like face value.
so let's say we launch a pilot program and we can do it quickly. You can get 8 to 10.
Yeah, she said 4 weeks. Once you sign the contract, getting the vendors onboarded and they set up a web page for you and everything. And then yeah,
What does the contract entail?
I have a copy of it. So I can send it to everyone.
Oh, I know, but your experience in other places, because you brought this up before.
Right.
It was it was something that you threw out a while ago, and I'm glad that you've, gotten it more refined, but does it work?
It does work,
Okay,
and it's the ease of the customer interface that is what's key to making it successful.
Yeah, I think that it's really where it shines is that it's very easy for the store owner because so how it works for them, how they're able to actually accept these cards on their system is that EFD, you have your little program that the manager of the program, someone from the WRA would be managing, and you add, or me,
we don't have employees.
Are
We
the
have
Wareham
interns.
Business Associations?
yeah, someone from
Yes,
that could take it
another-
over.
Another entity, yeah.
Yeah, but even then it's pretty simple. So you just enter in the address of the business, right? And it will send a 10-cent card to their email. They just run the card on their POS system in their store, and then it's pretty much good to go to accept EFT cards. And if their POS system automatically updates, which they do, normally it would kick off any kind of link between them, but apparently they found some workaround that it's automatically renewing. So basically, in short, it's very easy for the store owner.
It's gonna be key to making this successful is the businesses that buy into it, that
Yeah.
wanna try this out.
Yeah.
We may have to crawl before we run on something like that.
So is there a benefit to asking the Village of Onset vendors
Also do it,
to also do it?
Yeah, that's
yeah.
a great idea.
I mean, you know, if you put all of those, and a lot of those are very seasonal businesses, they probably would, don't ask me to do it, but they probably would, you know, jump on it as
Yeah.
a way of making purchasing easier.
And this
Yeah.
might be a place where we can utilize the DECA students that are part of the WBA, potentially,
Mm.
as one of their projects. I mean, they made that abundantly clear in our initial meeting, that they bring a whole lot to the table that,
Marketing.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I
you could
mean,
work with one of them, or no, someone else somewhere could work with one of them, potentially, but they would need mentoring, you know, to make sure that they're doing things the way they should be doing them, because they are young people.
So do they have, other than you, do they have a sales force that would, in other words, do you invite all of the businesses and you do 2 presentations? You do one here on Main Street, and you do one through the OBA, okay?
Mhm.
And you get maybe 25 businesses, is that gonna work?
yeah, so Ken.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they have an account manager, right?
Yeah, so they have an account manager. They've been working there for a while. They're would be aware of our situation, and it's 1-to-1. So
I don't know what that means.
like just whoever's managing the program and the account manager, they also have online resources and everything that they could send us. Yeah, like onboarding stuff from vendor side, they have a lot of marketing materials and stuff like that already that we could use.
This is sounding better and better, I think.
And I think the 8+ vendors, like originally, I think we had talked about doing downtown dollars just for Wareham Village. But then after talking with them, and they're saying we find the most success when you have at least 8 to launch. Ken and I were talking, and I think finding 8 storefronts or 8 stores in downtown Wareham Village that would be able to buy into the program might be a struggle. So we also talked about expanding it to Onset Village, and you could call it like Village Dollars or something like that.
Wareham dollars, Wareham downtown dollars.
Yeah,
Or
Two
just
downtowns.
Wareham dollars.
Yeah,
Wareham
Wareham
village
dollars.
dollars or something,
yeah.
or village dollars.
Yeah.
Well, this slide is interesting because I can see the pitch, part of the pitch to business owners. 51% of card holders try new merchants.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, they spend 30% more than the card value.
Mm-hmm.
If we could go back to what it would look like bottom line in terms of what the WRA might be expected to do to get this thing launched.
Mhm.
Because it sounds like somebody has to underwrite this to get it off the ground. It could probably perpetuate itself later on. I'm sure merchants can offer their own, sounds like they can tailor this to offer their own 10-20% discounts, that kind of thing.
I think it would have to be community-wide, the discounts. So like, let's say Cafe Soleil and Mariachi both buy into the Downtown Dollars program. They would both have to run their own promotion together. Mariachi can't have one buy one get one burrito, and Cafe Soleil can't have buy one get one chicken parm.
Can't have?
No, it would need to be just straight up.
I imagine they could just say, bring in your Wareham Village
Yeah, you could do something
downtown
like
dollars
that.
card,
Yeah,
and if you pay with that, you get 2 for 1.
yeah, sure. You could do it like that.
But if we underwrite it, let's say for every $1,000 of these cards that get sold,
Mm-hmm.
let's say every $10,000 of cards that get sold at the Oyster Festival.
Are they
customers go-
sold though? They are sold,
Yeah,
you have
and
to
you can-
pay, can we go back to the basics?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
so I can
So if I wanted
understand,
one, I'd go up to the
you go up to the
booth and I'd
booth,
say, Con, I want $100 Wareham Dollars card. And
so you load it, it's like a prepaid card?
Basically, but it's not physical at all. And when it's done, you get a new card. You're not
Right,
reloading it.
okay, but it's it's like a prepaid phone,
It's like a Visa card that you buy in the store, basically.
yeah,
And it's the same kind of
Okay.
price thing because when you buy a $100 Visa card in the
You-
store, it doesn't cost $100. It costs 100 and something.
right. Okay, so
if I-
now I'm
so
getting it.
So I'm
Okay.
talking to Connor at the booth, I say, I want $100 CAD, what's that gonna cost? He says $80. I go, wow, that's that's a deal, I get 20% off right off the bat if as long as I spend this at these 9 fine locations in Wareham.
It would be more like you want to buy the card, you give me $10 and then you also get $5 extra. It's not like a 20% discount, it's
Right, it's a
plus
reimbursement.
20%.
It's a
Oh.
reimbursement?
Yeah,
plan?
and so the
yeah.
reimbursement, so let's say we're sponsoring 50%, right? Someone buys $10 downtown dollars, their own
50%
money.
sounds like a lot to me.
It's like half of the value. You can go down, they said that they don't really see much value in going lower than 50% historically.
So if you were to run an example for us of what we could potentially sell and what it would cost the WRA to underwrite that, what would that simplistic example look like?
So if you want to run a promotion, you want $10,000 total in straight sales with the downtown dollars, then the WRA would underwrite $5,000 for that program, for that whole promotion. Or you could sponsor the fees for the card.
Which is how much money?
It depends on how much they buy. It's $1 plus 5% on the card.
I'm
So for
not doing that.
$100, it's $6.
So if they spend $100, it would be $5 plus $1,
Exactly,
$6.
yeah.
Well, that sounds really tiny compared to 50% of the
50%,
value.
yeah. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't go lower. That's just what she had said yesterday, is that they didn't see much response after 50.
Yeah, 50% sounds like a real leap to me. $5,000 sounds like a real leap for
Mm.
$10,000 worth of commerce.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a serious subsidy.
Yeah, but you can also
Sales.
limit that, so on the $10 and $25 interval that you're buying, you could also just restrict that to 50%. So that you're not having someone come in and buy like $10,000 in downtown dollars and then getting $5,000 for free or something.
I like your original example because I've had that example in my work life of run, walk, fly. You know, we start small and then as we see benefits, we get larger. And as we see benefits, we get larger instead of, flying at the outset. And I also, from my experience as a person in the corporate world hosting webinars, I would like to halt this conversation now and go off air so that I can go take care of drinking water and other things before we start our conference at 11. Or we can do it in 5 minutes and then take 10 minutes to get ready.
Well,
Okay.
can
well,
we
let-
just, the item about the fall town meeting, you could just skip over
We'll
that.
defer that since
Yeah.
Derek's not here.
And then,
Yeah.
and again, I would defer the internship because Derek's not here.
Mhm.
And so
I don't know, do we need Derek here for that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
think
anything
so.
about it. I haven't read this yet.
Okay.
So, I guess I mean, Princeton, New Jersey is a city
Yeah,
and it has a university, world-renowned university. So there are a whole bunch of students who are taking advantage of this to get their pizza and maybe
Yeah.
their beer or whatever. That's not what we have here, and that's my concern, is I'd like to see it having been successful in a Princeton, Massachusetts, which is in the western part of the state,
Sandwich,
right?
actually-
I mean, it's something
Sandwich
that,
uses them.
Sandwich,
Yeah,
Mass?
They have a sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh. And it's been successful?
When did they start?
I don't know actually. But
So
she
then
did say that
maybe we
sandwiches is
should
not.
vote or something to have you and the woman that you talked to make a presentation to answer our questions. Is
And I
that-
think we should also talk with somebody in Sandwich to know
Yeah.
what their fee, you know, how long, not through the company, but
Yeah.
through ourselves.
Good
Maybe
point.
we would have the same account manager if the account manager
Yeah,
is
but you go to
managing.
one of the people who's using it, you go to one of the vendors who's using it in Sandwich,
Yeah.
you knock on their door and say, hi, I wanna buy sandwich dollars. You,
But is that the woman that you talked to? The
No,
local
I haven't
vendor?
talked to the account manager yet. I just talked to the rep who does the demonstrations.
Okay, yeah, so,
I suggest that we put it on hold.
Yeah.
And put it back on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yep.
But after we've done more homework, and again, I'd like to know, Sandwich is not Wareham.
and we may hear some very interesting things from the folks in Holden, who
Right.
won America's Best Main Street.
Right,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, I think the value in this is that it's as big as you get it, so it's not like we're having this big upfront fee to launch the program.
Yeah.
And then we're kind of trying to dig ourselves out of that hole if it doesn't get traction. So I guess with this fee structure, it's really as successful as you make it. There's like no big loss if it
Yeah, but
doesn't work.
you don't wanna fail.
Yep. And I just want to reiterate, I don't have a cold, but I do have allergies and I need to go to cough.
Okay, why don't we take a 10-minute recess and then we'll resume and get ready for our presentation with Hutch.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sounds great, thank you.
So what's the time?
Can I ask for something? else?
Recessing.
Wait, Ken
Ken.
wants to weigh in. Wait.
One more item. I had submitted an inquiry to the one-stop program of the state for
Okay.
grants.
Yep.
And found out that they have money for the MIPA reviews of urban renewal plans. So
Oh,
we could have that paid for and get our renewal plan in place.
oh, let's do it.
So I want to vote on that too.
I authorize Mr.
Wait,
Buckland.
I have one more ask. Could they also conduct as part of their, have in the back of my mind the fact that the people, the landlords on Main Street who are unresponsive to repeated outreach to help them rehab their buildings may be the same ones that are listed in the urban renewal plan as ones that are eligible for eminent domain. And these people may be saying to themselves, why would I invest a lot of money in a building that the town is gonna eventually turn down? So could that also be part of the MIPA review?
Yes, it could.
Awesome, thank you.
I move to authorize Mr. Buckland on behalf of the WRA to apply for the, through the one-stop program for the, so we can finish our,
Ken, when would that be due by if we apply?
It's due by June 2nd.
So we have ample time, I think it would be good to have Derek here for that discussion.
I'm sure that anyway, that, I mean, I would give him, it's
Just an application.
well, it's an application, but we have other applications that we're pushing through you too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other grants out there that we need to have him applying for, and the deadlines are excruciating.
Okay,
Right, it sounds like we have till June to get this in, and Ken's probably got his finger on the trigger, ready to pull it anyways.
So,
So I don't think Ken needs our authorization to pull it, but I do think,
we just asked for it.
I just,
Well,
I
I know,
want the,
but I'd rather we have Derek here to discuss this. This isn't even on the agenda.
Right.
And it just came up.
It would
And
be under his report.
I have
Okay.
some trepidation
Yeah.
about voting on this.
Yeah.
Without really having thought about it and
I agree,
having
I
heard
agree.
some details.
yeah,
all
So
right,
Ken, can we put this out to the April 10th meeting?
we can.
thank you.
Okay.
And I wanted another under my report was that I have a query on the Tremont Nail Factory for use as a movie set.
That is awesome.
All right.
I want to be in the movie.
Great. That sounds like a serious one, Ken?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna be showing them the site on Tuesday next.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's
Alright.
been used before.
Really? Oh, we need to talk more about this offline.
All
Can
right,
we
thank
have
you,
a
Ken. And
10-minute recess?
anything else, Ken, before we go to recess?
you can go
Okay, we
recess
will
now.
recess for 10 minutes. It's 10:49.
Judy, can I go get water out of the selectman's office?
If they, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks. And I'm gonna stop by there on my way out to sign the things.
Yeah, we.
And
All right, you are good.
thank you, Zach. And I have one last comment to make. We jumped all the way down to the report for the Director of Planning, member comments and new initiatives. I had one comment before we moved to our session with Hudson. I did speak with the organizer for the May 24th Oyster Festival, Lorna Brunel, and she is very graciously giving the WRA a booth right at the entrance to the festival. She considers us, as I think is correct, a co-sponsor of the event. And she's very happy that we're gonna be sharing that booth with DECA. And she has a soft spot in her heart for DECA. She's been a judge at DECA competitions. And I communicated that to the DECA faculty advisor over at the Wareham High School, and they're excited about it. So they'll probably be selling DECA t-shirts and Wareham Vikings, sports hats, shirts, memorabilia, that type of thing. So I think that'll be fun, and it'll
Who has
give
the
us an
equipment?
opportunity.
Who has the equipment for the booth?
I do. I have a tent and a table, and the DECA people are bringing a nice tablecloth
Excellent.
and signs.
You gotta love it when you got a rug that brings the room together, you know?
Right.
That's the Big Lebowski, everybody knows that, right?
So I just wanted to provide that update. And I didn't give Ms. Whiteside a chance for member comments. Judith, did you have anything you wanted to bring out? I know you mentioned a couple things earlier, but. anything-
I ran
anything else?
into Tracy McGraw yesterday in the parking lot. She plans to attend the next meeting,
Great.
organization meeting,
That's awesome.
and is looking forward to
She's
having
attending our next meeting, April 10th?
the,
WBA
Oh, the WBA.
yeah, the
meeting, okay.
WBA
at the end of
meeting,
the month.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. the
And
31st.
she couldn't make it the last meeting because of her family emergency, we'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And so she's excited about getting some help doing what she's been doing, which
Yeah.
is,
She sent me a few texts just saying, like, I think she's having a hard time with her mom, basically.
yes,
Yeah,
there are health issues.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
That
so-
is so,
but
Sorry
she
to
hasn't
hear
been
that.
able to make it. She texted me when we do have the meetings, just saying if there's anything that I can do to help.
Okay, that's
But
great.
she
That's
she
good news.
assured me she would be at the next
Okay,
one.
good.
okay, good.
Anything else, Judith?
No.
No, Ken, anything else?
No.
Okay,
I actually have a comment / initiative very quick. So just a quick update on the website. We haven't done I haven't really said much recently, but I'll give you guys a more like comprehensive presentation after this month, because then we would have been 3 months into the year and we could do like a little quarterly look back. But right now I just wanted to say that we are kind of slowing down on pace as far as like views and visits to the website. So I think the last time we talked, which would have been December, early January, we were averaging around like 350, and now I'm seeing that around like ranging 380 to like 450 at max over the past few months.
that's 380 visits per day,
Day.
a week,
Yeah,
a day. Okay.
so
Are you feeling good about it?
I'm feeling like it's slowing down, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And because of that, it's been like that for the past few weeks, and I reached out to Wareham Media, which you guys had suggested doing after we talked about Facebook audiences and Facebook ads, and asked them basically to make a quick promotional video for the town that we could then leverage the Facebook audiences that I built out and hopefully run some ads when summer comes around to get people visiting the website, to kind of give it a boost for the summer.
Was Wareham Media amenable?
Yeah, so they gave me a first draft. I definitely have some notes on that, and I'll work with them. And then I was thinking that we could get the draft video in a good place, that we can plug some stuff from the Oyster Festival in, and basically run the ads right after that.
We have a raised hand, Christina Johnson, who is the Director of Economic Planning and Commercial Development for the town of Hudson. Sorry, Christina, if I got your title wrong, but could you please actually let both of those folks in as panelists, or whoever needs to be let in as a
Who's
panelist?
that, Zach?
Just give me 1 second.
Looks like Christina. Christina, you're live.
She's
Can you
muted.
hear?
Hi.
Hi.
We have a little bit of a lag here.
Yeah.
And I think I see Richard up there. Richard, your mic is off.
There we go.
Awesome.
Great. Well, Christina, Richard, welcome. I'm Dan Butler with the chair of the Wareham Redevelopment Authority. We appreciate you joining us today. Our esteemed colleague on the Redevelopment Authority and a member of our select board, Sarah Corbett, took the initiative to reach out to you when she learned about you Hudson being named the best Main Street on the planet, I think it was.
Yep.
And
Take that.
so I'd like to let Sarah do the introduction today. So Sarah, over to you.
Oh, good. Under pressure. So I would actually like you, Christina Johnson and Richard Braga, introduce yourselves, because I'm pretty sure I know exactly who you are, but at the moment I can't remember my own name. So if you guys could take it away. Christina, you want to start?
Sure. And we also have like a kind of a brief presentation that we can go through that might help answer some of your questions or maybe spur some dialogue as well. So good morning. Thank you very much for having us here today. I'm Christina Johnson. I'm the Director of Planning, Community Development, Economic Development, and a lot of other things. If you're not familiar with Hudson, we are sort of in the Metro West region, sort of the outer limits of the Metro West region. I would argue we're probably the hottest community in Metro West, as we should be. But I do have South Shore roots, as a matter of fact, and I grew up in Whitman. So I am very familiar with Wareham and the Cape area. So it's really cool to be communicating with you folks.
Good morning, folks. My name is Richard Braga. I am the director of the Hudson Downtown Business Improvement District. I'm a former employee of the municipality. The Business Improvement District is a separate nonprofit organization, and we'll talk a little bit about that as our presentation proceeds.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Do you want to introduce Judy and Kenneth
Sure.
and Connor?
Christina, Richard, I don't know if you can see the rest of the group here, but to my left is Judith Whiteside. Judith is the chairwoman of our select board here in Wareham and a member of the Redevelopment Authority. To my right, Mr. Ken Buckland. He is our Director of Planning and Community Development. And we have an intern working for the Wareham Redevelopment Authority, Connor Alden, who is here today also and helps us with our efforts here in the Redevelopment Authority. And again, after all, Sarah gave us a pretty good buildup regarding what you have done in Hudson. Some of us, I think, did a little of our own research after she talked to us at an earlier meeting. And we're anxiously awaiting your presentation, and we appreciate you taking some questions from us.
You bet. And hi, Ken. We do know each other as professionals. It's nice to see you. I forgot you were the planning director in Wareham. It's a small universe of folks, so we all know each other and have our family reunions at the regional conferences. So I'm really delighted to share a presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about the planning and the maybe not so sexy items. So this renaissance that we're experiencing didn't really happen overnight. And we're really trying to convey to you is to capitalize on Wareham's assets, just as what we did in Hudson. Wareham wants to be Wareham, just like Hudson wants to be Hudson, kind of maintaining the unique identity. I heard you talk about an oyster fest. I hope I get an invitation to that because I will eat all of them. That sounds really fun. So again, I try to tell folks you don't need to be Hudson, you need to be your own community, and you'll figure out what your assets are and how you can incorporate that into a revitalization or a plan or corridor improvement plan. But I'm going to talk about the planning and the infrastructure and the things that kind of set the table. And Richard, who I consider a colleague, actually an adjunct member of my department, we'll talk a lot about what the bid does, which has been unbelievably transformational. We wouldn't be where we are without the work of the bid. So let me share my screen. Hopefully this will all work.
Connor,
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
This is all recorded.
Oh, excellent. So we can go to the next slide because you know who we are. Yes, we did win Best Main Street contest. We're going to milk that till the very end. End of time. But it's a cool designation. And I am an aficionado of any downtown, whether it's Hudson or any downtown in the Commonwealth. All right. Next.
When was your town hall built?
Our town hall 1880.
It's cool.
Richard, do you know the exact date? Old.
yeah, which means it's awesome.
It's really awesome.
It's not an awesome place to work and be a professional because it has old features such as HVAC systems and inadequate climate control. Office space doesn't really work for us. It's one of those, I think it would be awesome to work in a historic building until you do.
Wait, can I quickly interject here? Ken, what's that company we've retained to do the work on this town hall? The Vision? Derek said it last night. Vision Strategic.
To do the assessment
Yes.
of the building.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Okay, anyways, they were a great company, and I will attempt to reconstruct. I read an article, not last night, but yesterday, and it is this amazing company that I read this article on, and I was going to send it to Derek and Ken, and I found out during last night's select board meeting from Derek that they had already hired these people to do this study. So
That's great.
it's amazing company, and I will try to send you a link to this company I found.
It's just a matter of cost.
Yeah.
We do have a long-term plan to implement a lot of energy efficiency and building out office space. It's just, unfortunately, like all of you folks, we have our own financial constraints as well. But I would be interested to see the work as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So really talking big picture, big vision, it's really important to talk about master planning because you really need a big vision and to think big, but also at the same time having clear directives. And I have been so lucky to have been the beneficiary of a master plan that was put into place by my predecessors. And it really gave me and my most recent predecessor some clear directive on land use and design goals. You need to have some of these things in place if you want to achieve certain outcomes. You need appropriate regulatory strategies to carry out the vision. And your master plan and your zoning really need to go together. You can probably like take a little power nap during all this. He knows all of this. But really putting those two together equals consistency. And I am a big proponent of visioning, planning, and executing and repeating over and over and over again. I hate plans that sit on the shelf. I hate over academic plans. I'm kind of the anti-planner in that way. In fact, we just received a grant from the Commonwealth to update this plan since we're now over 10 years old. And hopefully, if you open this, it's not sexy. It says, if you want this, do that. And we've done mostly everything in this plan, I have to say. So you don't need to overcomplicate the visioning, but you need to have a vision because you want your vision to transcend time, transcend a changeover in, your select board. The vision is the community's vision that has been adopted. And that's really important. So we've had members of our finance committee hold this up at town meeting and cite it, but it's in the master plan. That's your goal. especially when you're doing zoning. So again, this kind of gives the gamut of what we've been doing over the past 10 years. I've been with the town since December of 2015, so I'm going on my 10th year here. We updated our downtown zoning regulations to encourage mixed use and more residential. If you have a downtown you're looking to kind of capitalize on and your zoning doesn't allow for any of this, it's just words on a page. We developed a downtown wayfinding and branding program, and that was in collaboration with the downtown bid. Richard's going to talk a lot about that. We did sidewalk dining regulations in 2018 before COVID. COVID was kind of a non-issue for our restaurants in downtown. We had outside dining before outside dining became a buzzword. And again, that was because we had the buy-in from the downtown bid to help the municipality put something in place. We improved the pedestrian setting on an adjacent downtown roadway corridor, which kind of houses all of our parking and utilities and alleyways. I'll show you some pictures of that. We're all about improving. We have the Assabet River flowing right through our downtown. We see that as an economic development asset as well as a recreational and environmental asset, and we want to open it up. And we have been doing that. Not necessarily downtown, but we are committed to doing affordable housing development on surplus town property. We believe in having affordable housing and housing options for all. Forming a downtown business improvement district was a goal in the master plan, and we did that. And Richard is going to talk all about how we did that in the governing state statute. And now we're doing the design process for our second rail trail. This is the Mass Central Rail Trail segment. We currently have an Assabet River Rail Trail, which connects us to Sudbury and Marlborough. And our connection to the Mass Central Rail Trail will connect into a 100-mile network going all the way from Northampton all the way to Cambridge. Pretty remarkable. And of course, Hudson is the last link, but that was in our master plan. So this is some specifics regarding the downtown zoning. If you're looking at a downtown revitalization, we wanted that sort of residential above commercial. We kind of love that in a downtown. We wanted to maintain the downtown architectural aesthetic, not creating strict design guidelines, but having supporting the work of the Historic District Commission, which does have some regulatory control. Our architecture is really cool, unique, and it's not Cape Cod. A lot of communities especially in like Central and Metro West, we want to have Chatham style architecture. I don't know what that means, but I love this retro. I think that's the owner of the jewelry shop's car there, but that
That's a great car.
it is a great car, and I love that retro sign. I think it's awesome, and it kind of adds to the flavor. We're not afraid of multifamily, and in the downtown, 8 units or fewer, it's just a by right process. Sometimes it's just a building permit, which is the way it should be. We have a lot of non-conforming multifamily, and folks are adding on units, and we think that's a good thing. If it's more than that, you're kind of going through a more discretionary process. We want density. Density in a downtown is a good thing. We have no dimensional requirements, and hold on to your seats. We have no parking ratios prescribed. It's a negotiation with the planning board.
Can I stop you there, Christina? Because those last
Yeah, I figured someone was going to stop you there.
Yeah, your last 2 bullets certainly sound like heresy, I think, to some folks. I tend to agree with them, but did you find that they were contentious? What did the citizenry think? And when you did away with parking ratios, did you have a good parking problem or a bad parking problem? How would you characterize that?
Well, this past a town meeting, I don't really remember this being a huge controversy. I mean, we did a lot of outreach and stuff prior. And again, we got the buy-in from the business community. This was pre-bid in 2016. So a lot of the businesses were on board about how to deal with parking. I don't like to think of parking as binary, good or bad. Parking is what you have and how you manage it. Sometimes you need more of it, but most of the time you just need to manage it more efficiently and effectively. We have a parking management problem more than a we don't have enough parking. The last thing I want to see is a vacant site or a site ripe for redevelopment be used for a parking structure. Brings no money to the town. It's you're losing commercial tax revenue. Oh, but you're going to charge $2 to park. Nope, people are going to park for free. And really there's available parking, within walking distance. This doesn't mean the planning board can't condition parking. For example, the planning board kind of has its own informal policy where they start at 1.5 spaces, but it's context sensitive. It's looking at what the particular, development is, and it's in the downtown. Parking ratios for other uses outside of the downtown zoning still apply. And I would argue are probably way too onerous. We overpark a lot of different land uses. Is it controversial? It's certainly a challenge for the planning board as they administer it, but they've gotten comfortable with it. And again, when this was brought up at town meeting, the finance committee held up the master plan and said, but it's in the master plan. And this is for economic development. And you can always go back and change it. So that's kind of my answer. And on the density issue and the dimensional requirements, you want your land uses being up against the sidewalk. It's more walkable. You have that traditional New England feel. And that's what we were going for. But again, this is very specific to Hudson, and these are just kind of some general recommendations that really work their magic for us, but may not work for you folks or others we have spoken to.
And can I interject here just for a second? This is really resonating with me. When I first became on the select board, which is hard to believe that I'm still in my rookie year, I went with one of our other rookie year select people to the Massachusetts Municipal Association Select Board annual educational event in May, and it was really good. And one of the best things I heard from the panelists there was basically think of yourselves as a marketing firm. Like, we need to market this. We need to get way out in front of this, exactly as you're saying, that everybody needs to be able to understand it and buy in on it. And then at town meeting, it'll go through. And I think historically, Wareham has and has not been pretty bad at their marketing. So this is, and I just want to put that name on it for exactly what you're recommending. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I'm looking at Hudson via Google Maps. Where is your BID? From what street to what street?
We'll show a map later in the presentation. It's right in the core of the downtown, but we do have a map.
Okay.
It's later on. Richard will cover all of that and why we selected that area as well.
Yep.
Thank you, Christina.
So this is the downtown zoning district, because I can't talk about planning without a zoning map. And the bid district is a lot smaller than this map. We've extended our downtown zoning district several times, the boundary, just to capture some more economic investment. We've also done it to eliminate a lot of nonconformities. There was just this practice in the 1950s when communities set up their zoning, that single family was the end all be all of all desired land use, and zoned all of these neighborhoods that were adjacent to a manufacturing downtown as single family. And somehow the multifamily uses would disappear. All it does is just create more work for the building commissioner, and it makes it more difficult for folks to want to invest in their properties. So that was another rationale for us doing that. But again, this is what our downtown looks like. It's pretty small, relatively speaking. We're not a downtown Worcester or anything like that. Oops, going the wrong way.
What is your population, Christina?
20,000,
Okay.
give or take.
Thank you.
This is our downtown wayfinding and branding. So we, with the downtown bid and a committee, we had a grant to work with an urban design consultant who helped us basically do a branding for downtown Hudson and actually install signs. I got a grant from the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism during COVID to do this, and this is one of our beautiful signs that showcases one of the signature buildings in the downtown. And we use this color scheme and the H on a lot of different things in the downtown and anything involving downtown marketing. So that was actually a lot of fun to do that. We love sidewalk life. And one of the projects I'm most proud of is the reconstruction of our downtown rotary. If you look on the upper left-hand corner, it's not technically a rotary, it's a hybrid of a traffic circle and a roundabout. Rotaries are what you see on Route 28 when you're going over the bridge, over to the Cape. But as you can see, it just has a lot of excess space. And we wanted to recapture that and create life on the street. And so we went through a whole, I call it the pledge drive, going for grants, going for a debt exclusion at town meeting, to recapture some public realm, fix some of the pedestrian crossings, just knit it together. I see this more as an urban planning exercise than a traditional infrastructure project, and it knits together the centerpiece of our downtown. And of course, this project couldn't have come at a better time. It was finished, I believe, August of 2020. So these pictures that you see were actually taken during COVID, and people were coming to our downtown in COVID, and sitting out on the sidewalk. That is the most popular place to be in Hudson and be seen.
Can you tell us what the width of your main street is, please?
I do not have the exact right of way.
And what are the width of your sidewalks?
Varying depending on where they are, but obviously, it has to meet ADA and all those kinds of things.
And sorry, it looks to me in the image on the lower left, is that they're wide enough to accommodate dining?
Yes.
Man, yeah.
Yes. Yep. And 2 lanes of traffic can get through on each approach. Again, this was not trying to create level of service A and maximum throughput. This was designed to slow the traffic down, to create a sense of space. And the business improvement district, especially those property owners and business owners that live in Hudson and our voting members, came and supported this project at town meeting unequivocally. And it's really a crown jewel of our downtown, and has created a sense of sidewalk life.
I have another question, sorry. So in Wareham, actually, our main street is oriented backwards. The Weeantic River flows behind the buildings facing Main Street.
It's the Wareham River.
It is the Wareham River. Okay, somebody told me it was the Weeantic. Anywho,
Keep
it is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And right now, you don't want to walk along the street that's called Merchant's Way right now. Did you have to reorient your entire business district?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No. I'll talk a little bit about improving what I call back of house streets that are not necessarily serving the sidewalk life, but provide critical infrastructure for the downtown,
Right.
which I believe is my next slide. No, actually, I'm going to talk about the Assabet River. Again, the Assabet River flows through our downtown. It doesn't bisect it, but you can access the river very easily from our downtown. And it has been, again, through the master plan, the priority to increase access to a downtown river. And we accomplished doing so actually in COVID. We had a plan put together with some community preservation money. And then actually, I can't take credit for this project. This was the deputy director of this department, who's also the conservation agent, environmental planner, among other things, wrote a grant to Mass DOT and their Safe Streets program. It was a program that they rolled out in COVID to kind of increase access to public spaces. And we created ADA accessible sidewalks, more intuitive pathways, more lighting, and some really wonderful educational signage about the history of the river in terms of the manufacturing legacy, as well as documenting all the flora and fauna that are present there. We see people walking there, including myself. I take my mental health walks there. You go to the Assabet River, and there's an overlook there where I'm taking the selfie, and it's like 15 degrees cooler than what would be in the downtown. So it is a wonderful respite, and we're trying to continue the momentum and continue continue access through other parts of downtown. So that was kind of another COVID celebration. Oh, and here we are with Mass DOT and our legislative delegation. I'll send you this presentation so you can see how we funded all of this. We are masters in this department of financing strategies, and it's always multifaceted and it's never one source. So here we are celebrating. It was a really great day. Oh, we had Congresswoman Laurie Trahan came to celebrate with us. But it was really funny to have the state DOT with us. They're not traditional funders of projects like this, but glad that they've entered that realm.
So quick question, I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. How long did it take you to get from what it was to that day?
Year and a half.
Okay. That is such a doable timeline.
I will say that the planning, so the funding to do the planning, design, and permitting, that kind of sat on the shelf for a little bit. And honestly, Richard and I thought, this is probably not going anywhere because we didn't have any funding. But because we had that plan in place, this is why having plans in place is a really good idea. The deputy director is like, Christina, I'm going to go after this money with DOT. I said, what the hey? And the application process was like 2 pages. I'm like, even better. And we got the full amount we asked for. Like we went for the max and we got the max.
And the
And
crowd,
then we just went through the bidding process, and that was that.
that is so awesome. Thank you.
And then we got a because DOT supported it, we also got a state ARPA allocation. And this was to do the real nitty gritty environmental work, the invasive species removal. I mean, you couldn't even see the front of the river because of all the invasive species. So we had a lot of help. This mostly came from outside sources for funding.
Thank you.
We're pretty good in this department. If people give us the money, we're motivated to get things done pretty quickly. Again, we're kind of a rail trail hub. We've been investing in rail trails. This is the Assabet River Rail Trail, goes right through downtown Hudson. It's a wonderful mixed use path, well used by everybody, cyclists, families, walking dogs, pushing baby carriages, you name it, they use it. And again, we're starting the next rail trail project. Rail trails are very difficult to undertake. There's a joke about, do you mean in regular years or rail trail years? I probably will be close to retirement by the time this is constructed. And I mean that with all sincerity, just because of the amount of money and permitting that it does take. So we're hopeful that the Commonwealth is stepping in to help communities like Hudson make all these important connections.
So Christina, just so I understand, your rail, it looks to me like what I'm seeing there, that's derelict, archaic, it's not being actively used.
It's abandoned right of way that's owned by the MBTA with a 99-year lease by the Department of Conservation and Recreation.
That's where our bike trail should go.
Okay, except as are active.
Except what?
Our rails are still active. They're
Okay,
not
then.
abandoned.
We have some that are abandoned. We actually do have some that are abandoned.
We do,
Mhm.
okay.
Talk to DCR because most of the time they're the ones that have the lease on them for the express purpose of creating rail trail connections. And talk to your regional planning agency. I think you guys are served by SERPID. They would help you with things of that nature.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Again, this is a project that I'm very proud of. This is repurposing. This was an old police station. This is probably giving Richard a little PTSD when he had to work in this building for many years, as Richard was actually the police chief for Hudson for many years. And we repurposed this property for affordable housing, which we believe fits into the economic development picture. And there'll be 100% affordable, all clean energy homes constructed on the site. And I couldn't be more proud to talk about this project. That this is a whole project presentation in itself, but I like to put this in the slide because housing is a part of the conversation with economic development. So with that, I'm going to stop and I'm going to let Richard kind of take over and talk all about the bid and how they've added value to the downtown, talk about how it was formed and all the great things that they do.
Well, thank you, Christina. I want to open up with an apology ahead of time because My daughter's dog is visiting today. I wasn't expecting him. Literally barks at everything, so it's likely that you'll hear him.
I have one of those.
Oh, anyway, fingers crossed on that one. So, as Christina mentioned, we are a formal business improvement district, and a business improvement district is actually governed by Mass General Laws, Chapter 40, Section O, where the property owners elect to essentially self-tax themselves by creating a defined business improvement district. It has to be in an area that's at least 75% of the land is commercial, retail, or industrial, or mixed uses. It's established through local petition and public hearing. The petition must be signed by 60% of the property owners that own at least 51% of the assessed valuation of the property within that proposed district. We wanted to make sure that we actually had more than the minimum threshold. Our goal was 80%, and we slightly exceeded that when the petition was presented before the Board of Selectmen in November of 17. So there really was a genuine interest by the property owners to become a bid. And there are only 10 bids in the Commonwealth currently. There's always a few that are in the process, but for the last few years, there's been 10 of us. I'm not aware that any community that did have a bid lost that bid. The bids that have been established remain intact. And I think, the property owners in these communities would attest that it's a valuable resource for them, even though it costs them. I mean, it's not cheap. The municipality acts as a fiduciary, so they collect the money for us, and it's a pass-through. They will bill the property owners, in our case, 0.35% of their assessed value. And the property owners pay the town collector's office just like they would taxes. Then that money gets distributed back to the bid. And the benefit that provides is that we decide, meaning the board of directors, which are made up of property owners, they decide how they want to spend that money. And we are not governed by the same rules that municipalities have, where you have to put out RFPs and pay prevailing wage and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if I have a project that somebody identifies downtown that we say, hey, you know what, we'd like to revitalize this little section of land here. I can call my local landscaper who's done work for us before that we're happy with, and he throws a price out that we think is reasonable, and he starts the project tomorrow. That's the kind of benefit that we have that municipalities don't have. Christina, next one.
Yep.
So this is the map of the bid area. You might note that's a little similar to the earlier C1 map that you saw. We're a little bit smaller on the south side for sure, but essentially it's somewhat similar. The amount of, so we have 105 properties with 85 property owners within the district. And you'll see that there's 145,000 from assessment fees. That was last year or the year before's number. We're now about 154,000, and we are the smallest bid. The bids range from our size bid, at $154,000 income from its property owners, to the biggest Boston bid that brings in 7.1 million. Needless to say, most of them aren't that big. But $1 million income or 500,000, that's about the size of, say, the average bids. We also, pick up about 30,000 a year from other sources, whether it's fundraising or grants. We actually got a $50,000 earmark this past year from the state representative that represents us, is the Speaker Pro Tem And she was able to secure a $50,000 grant for us to use, and we're in the process of identifying projects that we're going to use that money for. So moving on, what we decided, what we wanted to do when we first formed was make sure that we had an impact right away, so that our property owners didn't get discouraged, when they're paying these bid fees, to say that, well, where is this money going? I don't see anything. So it was important for us to, get a visual for them, let's say. So in doing so, you can see in some of these pictures, there's flowers that are hanging from the street lamps. Those are ours. Those light balls, those are ours. On the left, you see holiday wreaths. Those are ours, kind of, sort of. They used to be, some of them used to be town. We kind of inherited them. None of the lights worked. We ended up restringing everything. So aside from that stuff, we did trash receptacles and benches and things like that. We had the sidewalks washed. In fact, we bought an $11,000 machine for the Department of Public Works to clean the sidewalks, which had never been washed in my lifetime, I can assure you of that. And did things like that that would help our property owners see that we're really out there doing things. Christina? So we also put on and sponsored downtown events. We have an Arts Fest that comes up in May. That's a Saturday afternoon kind of event. We've had a 5K run for the arts before. We haven't done that in a few years, but we also involve ourselves with the Hudson Business Association for the Hudson Downtown Stroll, which is a Christmas event. You can see, a holiday event. You can see the horses, taking people, for rides. We also have Saturday afternoon summer music series that goes from Memorial Day to October 1st. Every Saturday there are quality bands at the town hall lawn, all free to people. It really just creates a terrific vibe. People come and go as they please. We're in our 5th year coming, I think, for that now, and it's really a great thing. I mean, people look forward to it, and when you're driving through Hudson and you see a quality band out there, and 50 odd people sitting in front of it watching it, it's something that grabs your attention. And our biggest event is Celebrate Hudson. That is on September this year. I think it's September 13th. And there's various activities going on, headlining music shows and all kinds of things that happen over the course of that day. That picture on the lower left is actually a mural that we had put up. It has historical significance for Hudson. It shows a migration of folks from the Azores Island in Portugal over to Hudson. At one time, we were like 1/3 Portuguese.
I have a quick question for you, Richard. Can you go back? Yeah. So the mural that you just highlighted, we've been talking about that, and we've gotten responses to a RIF of something like $44,000 to do it. How much did that cost you?
Oh boy, I didn't know there was going to be a test.
If you can get back to us with the number later, that's okay.
You know what? I know what it is now. I just had to think. If it's anything past this morning, it takes me a while. $6,500, as I recall. It's not that big.
Oh.
It's only, if I remember right, 1, 2, 3. It's 12 by 6 or 8. No, 12 by 8. That's what it. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's 15 by 8, but it's relatively small. This is on panels. It's not the whole side of a building.
Got it.
Generally speaking, from the research that I've done, because we want to do more of these, and we want to do some of these actually painted on the brickwork on a whole side of a building, $25 to $35 a square foot is what I'm hearing is typical.
Thank you.
Sure. So Christina mentioned earlier about wayfinding, another thing, and this stuff ties also into, some of our marketing strategies. I think that Christina has talked about a lot of the stuff that's here already. You see a shot of the River Walk there and our sidewalk dining. I think you can move on a little bit
Okay.
from, okay, so COVID. So here we are, 2018, by 2020, we're really making a difference and we're operating on all cylinders. And then in March of 2020, we all know what happened. And I remember sitting with the treasurer, well, not sitting on a phone, I should say, because nobody could be close to anybody. And I mentioned to him, I says, what the hell are we going to do if our economic engine downtown collapses? It doesn't matter if we have all these pretty flowers, benches, and all the things that we've done to beautify our downtown if we don't have any businesses left. So what we decided on is that we would pitch to the executive board that we would hire a certified public accountant to help all of our businesses navigate through the COVID process, particularly the different grants that were available, so that they could get the funding that was available. And we hired a CPA. That CPA worked with 70% of our members. I called literally every property owner that I had numbers for, which was a lot. I only had a few that I didn't. And 70% of them participated, all paid for by the bid. And when I say property owners, meaning, yes, some of the property owners participated, but we extended that offer to all of their commercial tenants. So any store that was in their buildings or any business on upper floors, didn't matter. They were all eligible to receive this free instruction from the CPA. And, undoubtedly, um, that strategy saved businesses. And we fared better than most other communities. And I would also add that, I mean, we all lost people, right? If you think back, we lost a few, not many, but we lost a few. But what was unique, I think, about our situation is because of the bid and because of the level of cooperation we have with the town too, we all work together. People that were interested in opening businesses realize that this is a golden opportunity for us, because look at that, there's 2, 3 storefronts open where this town, had about 100% occupancy rate. And we were filling spaces that had been vacated by the businesses that didn't make it through COVID. So it was, I think that was the biggest thing we did. Some of the other bids followed our lead on that and tried to emulate what we did. We were also, by the way, the first bid to receive 501c3 nonprofit status by the Internal Revenue Service. Most other bids followed us after that as well. In addition to, Christine, I guess you can go next. A couple more things before we get to that, but some of the other things that we have done is we've done grants when we did have a couple of storefronts that were open. We'd throw a grant out there and we'd tailor it for a type of business that we'd like to see come. For example, we felt we needed a little more arts presence at the time, at least in our storefront stores. So we ended up offering a grant to any arts-based store. What we would do is we would pay $500 worth of rent a month for a year for that kind of business to sign a lease. We ended up getting, and it was something we really wanted on top of it all, we ended up getting a musical instrument store come into the downtown, and that was, I'd say he's been there now 5 years, 4 to 5 years, and he's hanging on. And another one we did was to a kind of like a craft boutique kind of store. So we've come up, I think, with ideas that, and marketing strategies that help make our downtown unique. The last picture there, you can see that we have pictures of our folks, and the lower left corner, that's our executive board. And that's kind of part of our secret sauce, right? So you need to make a bid work, you need to have people that are gonna commit to this, are gonna work together, are gonna work hard. Our president is kind of the bulldog of the group. He's comes up with these ideas and, advances our agenda. Vice president seated to the right of the president on the left. He's a young guy, a visionary. He owns 3 businesses downtown. Our treasurer is a CPA, volunteers his services for the bid. And to my right is a secretary who wants to do everything. I mean, that's the kind of people we have. And what's critically important is we also have other partners. Christina is, as she said, I'm an adjunct member of her group. Well, she's actually an ex officio member of our executive committee and board of directors. She sits at all of our meetings. I have a table that of anything importance at the town as it relates to the district, and Christina sits in on all of our stuff. So the level of cooperation with the town is critical. We're fortunate to have that. We also play in the same sandbox with other similar kind of groups, meaning that we have the Hudson Business Association, and they have members within our district. They also have members outside of our district. We partner with them in programs. We also have a Chamber of Commerce that we work closely with. So we all get along, and I think that is critical if you're considering forming a bid. Forming a bid is not easy, but the rewards are huge. And if it's something you think you want to do, you want to reach out to folks that have done it before, like myself and others, and we're all happy to help, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That last picture there that Christina has shows that sign on the right-hand side is an electronic sign. It goes east to west on our eastern end of our Main Street. We also have one that runs north-south on Route 85 right before our district. And we post things, daily of different activities of downtown and public service announcements and things like that. So we're very involved in our downtown, and I think it's because of that we're as successful as we've been.
Quick question. In the center, it said, "Live it up in Hudson." Is that your town motto, sort of?
No.
No.
What is
It
your
comes
town?
from their website, the bids website. These slides are a little out of order. I apologize for that. This would have followed better if it were put earlier, but you get the gist. These are some of the screenshots from the bids website, which is discoverhudson.org. And also there are 2 sort of downtown cameras. They're not the towns, they're the bids, and kind of capture that, hey, look what's happening, trying to create that fear of missing out. But this presentation was actually put together a while back before. We now have a snappy little marketing video. We can send you a link to that sums up this hour-and-a-half presentation in about 2 minutes.
Great.
Yeah, if you would, Christina, that'd be great if we could get that.
Yep.
And great presentation. I'd like to open it up to the WRA members I'm sure they have questions and comments. I'll start with your colleague, Ken Buckland. Ken.
Thank you for the presentation. That was very good. I guess I was thinking about the size of the downtown versus the size of the downtown Wareham, and how many businesses there are. Was there a cutoff point when you thought you had enough members, potential members, that the bid became more real?
Yeah, I think that, well,
It's also property owners, not businesses.
Right, the
Right,
property owners are the ones that decide because they're the ones that are getting taxed. And this process took about a year and a half in total, from the time that, folks started sitting on think tank type meetings and to when the petition was voted on. So it's not anything that happens in a month, I can tell you that. You need to get a group of folks together, namely the property owners who are thinking that, this might help Wareham. Yes, this is gonna cost me money. There's no getting away from it. Most downtown associations, if you will, have groups that contribute, $50 a year to be a member, $100 a year, that kind of thing. So they've got, $8,000 a year that they can spend. It sounds like it's a lot, of money that we have between what we generate from bid fees and maybe some fundraisers, $200,000. But in the bid world, that's really not that much. But if you have $200,000 and figure, a third of them are fixed fees or something, then you got $120,000 roughly to pour into your downtown every year over and above whatever the town spends, at least to maintain the downtown. So you can do all sorts of stuff, events or beautification projects or marketing strategies. And Christina mentioned the video. We put together a 2.5 minute video. It costs us $8,000, but it's really very cool, and it gives a nice picture of the excitement that we have going on downtown, and it works well to attract people, and we've used it on our social media platforms and all that kind of stuff.
thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Judith Whiteside.
Most interesting thing I learned was that a third of your population was Portuguese.
Yeah, you have a Portuguese population down there too, right?
Yes, and I worked in New Bedford for 23 years and clearly Portuguese.
Yep.
It was a nice presentation, thank you.
Christina, Richard, I've got some questions, and I'll let Sarah close it out for us. You talked a lot about the way it is today. You didn't talk about the before and after so much. And I'm curious, because we're kind of looking at the before scenario here in our Wareham Village. We have quite a few empty storefronts on the main street. Some of the property owners complain about safety issues. They're definitely complaining about the trash. I'm curious about public safety. Did public safety improve after you created the bid and began to do your good work? Was it noticeable?
So let me talk about the before for a moment. And we used to have a picture, but
I'll find it and screen share it. It captures it perftly. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, Richard, while I find the
So-
infamous picture.
there's some different levels of before, okay? So going back, let's say to the 80s and 90s and all that, one of our anchor stores, Christina is going to show you it. There it is. One of our anchor stores
This
was
circulates on social media every so many months.
Billy Jack's Bar. This was not an unusual scene. Any Saturday, any Sunday, any Friday night warm weather kind of thing. This was a pretty notorious biker bar. So that was, like I say, that was our anchor store. We probably had at that time another half a dozen watering holes on Main Street, meaning that places that served alcohol without food. We don't have that stuff anymore, right? And we also had at I would say in the 90s and early 2000s, 20% vacancy rate, on at least storefront level. The Hudson Business Association really started to try to resolve this problem, and they really did a decent job. They were the ones that really attracted the Rail Trail Flatbread Company, and that was transformative to our downtown. Once that place opened up, others businesses started coming in. Then they realized that they had momentum, and that brings us to the point of 2017, let's say, where the bid was formed. So at that point, a lot of the stores had already started to transform themselves and open up, and But we still had at least a half a dozen, 8 vacancies when the bid actually itself was formed. Now it's rare to have vacancies. We actually have a couple now. There's a hardware store that had been in business for decades that the owner retired, so that is being filled. There are people looking at that. It is going to be filled without much problem. And there's a jewelry store that's relocating to another part of the district. So that 2,500 square foot is available at the moment. But we've enjoyed, for the most part, 100% occupancy for a few years now.
Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Sarah. Sarah.
Okay, thank you.
If I could, I
Yep.
didn't answer your question about public safety. The public safety issue, now I go back to my days as Christina told you, I was a police chief in town. I was the one responsible for closing the biker bar. And a lot of the public safety issues that we had back then kind of resolved themselves. Meaning that when you got rid of some of the problem places, the issues associated with public safety and the calls that you would typically get at night kind of disappeared, if you will. Because the downtown transformed itself, we have some great restaurants, and Hudson used to be the place to go because we had 2 o'clock liquor licenses at all these watering holes I told you about. Even though there are still 2 o'clock licenses out there, nobody stays open till 2 o'clock. I can tell you that by 9:30, 10 o'clock, Hudson is shut down pretty much. Not like it used to be when it became popular at 10 o'clock at night. So we don't have public safety issues downtown anymore. Literally don't have them.
Great. Thank you, Richard. That's a great success story.
So, okay for me to keep going? Is it okay for me to finish up what I was saying?
Jump in.
Okay. So there are so many things that this presentation hit home for me with. One of them was the one you just said. I've had multiple conversations with people lately who are saying, my kids don't drink. I was like, what? Like a lot of young people today, Kendall Peabody at the Lucky Goat, I went to an event at his place and I had some of his beer and I'm like, I can have more than one of these because it's 5% ABV, alcohol by volume, instead of tequila, vodka, whatever the hell we were all doing back in the day when I was disco hopping and started my night at 10 o'clock, which I totally can't do anymore. So that is like such music to my ears because I think we've got some businesses coming into downtown like Kendall's, like the Retrocade, where their focus is more on having fun as a group and eating food and having maybe a little bit of alcohol. We had a music store here not too long ago that closed
After a year.
For reasons I'm not sure of, but that was wonderful to my ears to see, oh my gosh, a music store, and then it was gone. The rail trail, I've been on the rail trail, the Central Mass Rail Trail. I used to rollerblade back in the day, but I don't know that I've been on at the spur that went through Hudson, but it is gorgeous. The waterfront presentation that we had with the people that we're partnering it with at the state almost looked exactly like the pictures you show of your waterfront access. And then I would lastly suggest that the members of the Wareham Business Association take a group trip to Hudson. And I would like to, if you guys are amenable, to arrange that for all of us. And, it could be just a great day out for the Wareham Business Association folks. So thank you. This is even better than I anticipated it would be. So thank you.
I would recommend that you bring.
Yep.
I have one question. You said there were a whole bunch of bars serving liquor with no food. That's illegal. They had to have
Well,
had a
way
common
back
vic.
when no one cared.
They had to have had a common vic.
I'm sorry. What?
They had to have a common victual license to be able to serve alcohol. That's the law.
Well, at the time, they probably had a little oven that cooked those Ilios pizzas That was their food offering. But the oven probably didn't work and nobody liked the pizza anyway. So they were simply watering holes.
Okay.
But
Christina,
generally speaking, if you ask the police chief today, I mean, we have 2 breweries in our downtown. We still have one of the vestiges of the 2 a.m. licensing establishments, which actually was bought by the owners of the rail trail who are going to try to revamp it a little bit. It's kind of the traditional, pool hall, full bar kind of atmosphere. But what it turns out to be are the folks that work in the brewery that want to go out for a quick drink with their colleagues after they close at like 9:30, and that's their after hours place to be able to hang out. But the police chief will tell you that none of these places give them any trouble at all, period. It's not an issue, and our police chief is the biggest fan of the downtown. He has some bike units that come riding through. He loves the downtown. He's born and raised just like Richard, and very supportive of all the nightlife and the people coming to downtown. I'm the loser. Well, when we used to do a lot more in-person meetings, I would be leaving town hall at 10 o'clock at night because oftentimes my day doesn't end till about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I was the loser not going out and having a beer at the brewery. So, but we're really excited that you're interested in our work, and we certainly invite you to come to Hudson with open arms. And, we're always willing to take a field trip too, even if it's, blowing off a whole day for me. It's always worth it to see what other communities are up to because we're all learning from each other.
And if you do come up to Hudson, I would recommend that you bring a couple of key property owners. I think that's
Yeah,
because they're the ones that have
good
to
idea.
decide whether they want to do this or not.
Good idea.
Very good idea.
Christina, Richard, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. Congratulations on your success. Obviously, an awful lot of hard work went into what you've achieved. And we realize we have our work cut out for us here in Wareham, and that's what we're dedicated to trying to accomplish. We're going to try to catch up to you. I don't know what you had to do other than all this to become the main street of America or the main street of the world, but we're coming after your title. And
Good. I love it.
we thank you too for your time, but also if you would, Christina, could you send us that quick video, the link, if you send it to Sarah? I know she'll get it to the rest of us.
Yep.
And, again, we appreciate your time and applaud your success.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Thank
inviting
you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
And I know Ms. Whiteside has a hard stop in
Yeah.
5 minutes. I think we're pretty much through most of the agenda today, so is there any final discussion? I have correspondence, but I'll save that for the next time. I'd like to show it to you anyways, Ms. Whiteside, before we talk about it. Any other comments, any reaction, any other suggestions for the next agenda? Our next meeting will be April 10th.
I have none at this time.
Just one point, back in 2009, when I come down and did the downtown study here of Wareham, we looked at a bid as part of that at that time, and decided that there wasn't enough.
Mass.
Enough property
It
owners.
wasn't, it wasn't enough property
Critical
owners,
mass.
the business owners, not including them, but the property owners, that it didn't make sense to do a bid for that reason. Now, there may be differences of status in that some of the properties are being bought up by other new owners. There may be something that actually can take place here in that regard, but a bid wasn't what I had ever planned on for the downtown. But there are things that could have changed that make sense for that now.
Right, including our new knowledge that we need to be a marketing firm to get this idea, to get a buy-in of a coalition of the willing. not forcing people with fees they can't afford, because the same thing happened in New Bedford. They tried to get a bid in, and the smaller, younger property owners voted against it because they couldn't get the stats needed to actually have a bid. I don't know what they're doing about it now, but we definitely need to get a coalition of the willing to carry this through. So that's
Do you
my
have any
final.
documents from the 2009?
Yeah, I do. The
Why don't
report
you-
itself.
Share those before the next meeting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Sure.
Just to see,
That'd be good to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's online.
Ken, thank you. And before I
Can I do
lose Ms.
this?
Whiteside,
No, goodbye. Ms. Whiteside, what, before we lose you, what? Say something.
do we want to adjourn before you leave, or do you have more to
Oh,
say?
yeah.
Nope, don't have any more to say.
Do I have a motion to adjourn, Ms. Whiteside?
made.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting at 12:07, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 12:07. Zach, Wareham Media, thank you very much.